Proven alcoholic. He's got 3 DUIs. That's an alcoholic. Telling you what's right. That's a little scary. That's like Marion Barry coming up and telling you how to live a righteous life. Right? Do you know who Marion Barry is?
No. Yeah, he was the mayor of D.C.
And what was he busted for?
Crack.
Yeah, busted smoking crack. And they reelected him. And you wonder why Washington, D.C. is a big goddamn mess. You have a crackhead running it. And he tells you what, you do exactly what he said. You're listening to a
capital of the
crackhead.
world while he was in office, too.
Yeah. How crazy is that? That you got this raging alcoholic with anger issues telling you, being the authority figure in your life.
He looks like Dr. No, doesn't he?
Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil.
In that wheelchair?
Yeah, he's spitting image, isn't he? He could be Dr. Evil's twin-looking brother.
But you know, you kind of wonder how everything got dysfunctional. Alcoholics run your country. Power-mongering alcoholic was running your country.
Have you seen the movies on the conspiracy theory of 9/11?
Yeah.
It's pretty trippy.
What is that?
Just-
it was a
Just the whole
inside job?
Yeah.
That's nothing new.
Oh yeah, I know it's nothing new, but I'm just saying.
People want to
it's-
manifest
it's
all that crap,
The
too.
Romans
pretty
did-
much
the Romans
new
actually
to
probably
common
started it.
society. Common society.
There's no
turns the cheek to
denying
it.
that those jets flew into those buildings, plain and simple.
No denying it, no.
No,
But is that what brought him down?
we don't know. We'll
Yeah,
never know.
because you know it's
Well,
really
we
what it is.
know. At least I think I know. If you've seen the movies where you're watching what happened.
Well, you know, it's really funny. Put all those aside. There was a movie out, and as a matter of fact, it's gotten popular again, and it was called Walking into Air, I think. It's about Jacques, can't remember his last name, he's from France. And he came over here in, I think, the 50s or 60s, after the World Trade Centers were finished. And he tightrope walked across.
Oh, I know
Oh,
what
that's a
you're talking
cool movie.
about.
Do you remember it? Did you watch it?
Yeah,
Do you remember the interview with the architect?
vaguely, but
They're having an interview with the architect explaining the structure. And he says, loud and clear, that the way the World Trade Centers were built was that the outside was kind of like a screen built on a frame. So you could, it's kind of like if I were to go up to that screen, this is how he was explaining it, and I poked a pencil in it, it does not compromise the door. It only pokes a hole in the screen. It doesn't compromise the whole screen. You know, that's how I designed this building, because it's in a heavy air traffic area. You could, he said, you could run multiple 747s into that building, and it will not fall. It would be like putting a pencil in the screen. It will not compromise the entire door. And he says this.
be interesting to see that movie again now. And he was hiding in the building every time he got in, so you know, I mean, you know that people can get in and mess with everything.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they found thermites, he speaks a little oddly.
Yeah,
That
but the
there's
planes were
molten-
full of fuel. I mean, the impact of
But
that.
thermite is not, if you put thermite in jet fuel, those people would have been, people in the plane would have blown to Kingdom Come on takeoff. Thermite is not part, a component of jet fuel.
If you see the movie that I
And
saw,
you know what? You could take jet fuel, and you could pour it on something and light it. It's going to burn out. Those fires were raging in the basement 3 weeks afterwards. There was molten steel 3 weeks later, still boiling and roiling. That's thermite.
I forgot the name of the movie I saw, but you should see it. It's got pictures of where all the bombs are. And I mean, unless somebody's going to make up this movie for whatever reason, which would be crazy, it's really interesting.
Oh, they're
You know,
saying
and
that
to me it's-
they planted bombs in the World
yeah.
Trade Center.
But see, but here, you know, here's the, this is one of those things where the fear factor comes in. No one wants to believe that humans would do this to humans. No one does. It happened, well, you know, you look at the Reichstag fire. We already know Hitler started that as a reason to invade Poland. Right? The Northwoods Project from the CIA that got declassified was a report, and certain CIA members were going to take American airliners, hijack them, right? Smash them into buildings and blame it on the Cubans. So the plan was already there once before. The Gulf of Tonkin, right? PT boat got sunk. There's no proof of that. It was a way to get us into into the war.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl
Oh
Harbor.
yeah, and this movie brings up Pearl Harbor, and I always thought my dad was kind of crazy. Like, what's he talking about Pearl Harbor? Until I saw the movie, and it's like, jeez. I
We
mean,
knew it.
Unbelievable.
There's no way
even
you
back
didn't know that
then.
there was a bunch of damn, kamikaze planes on its way from Japan. You had such a thing called radar. You saw them coming. They just decided not to do anything about it for that particular reason. And really, the idea that that's an inside job becomes more credible when you watch local footage from the day it happened. Screw all those conspiracy theory movies. Because when you listen to the firefighters, they're being interviewed by local New York TV stations, and they said an explosion blew me back up the stairs. There was an explosion in the basement and blew us all the way back up the stairs. There's people on it's on record. They're there saying it. Oklahoma City bombing was the same thing. When you're watching the local news, they're talking about. So there's been 2 explosions so far, and they're expecting a third. And then you find out that the pillar that got blown out of that building was the one furthest away from that fertilizer bomb. Then you take an explosives expert. He builds that same exact bomb, sticks it out the side of a trailer. It didn't. It just blew the windows out. That same exact size bomb. He recreated it, stuck it out next to a trailer. It doesn't have enough force. It's a flash. It's not a force. Oxygen makes more. If he would have filled that truck with oxygen and ignited it, that would have done more damage. Because there's actually a wave, a particle wave off of oxygen. There isn't off urea. But you watch the local food news coverage. They talk about multiple bombs at the Murrow building. And these firefighters are talking about how it blew them back up the stairs. Right? There was just explosion after explosion after explosion. Yeah, you can't deny that. You can't dispute that.
Well, when you hear somebody tell the story, because I've heard people tell the story for years, I just say, okay, that person's just, that's their theory, wherever they've heard this from, he's a little whatever. But I'm telling you, once you actually see the footage, you figure somebody did not make this up.
Well, really, and how did if that wasn't some kind of conspiracy, how did Building 7 even fall?
Yeah,
Building
that's
what
the
now?
big one.
The other one.
And what
Building
happened to
7?
the airplane?
And if you
The
watch,
big one.
what's really weird is
Well,
in
no,
England,
Building 7.
they gave that report out 30 minutes before it actually happened.
Building 7 was always used in the basement to store diesel fuel.
It looked like a Vegas casino going down.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Doesn't
that's
Free fall?
that's what happened with Building 7 was
Building
the
7
diesel
had all the
fuel.
paperwork in it.
Yeah. But see, I think we were all in shock and brainwash on 9/11. Because I was like, what?
Well,
we
if
don't
you
have a
really-
military that even could do anything to see that coming? I was just in
Tell me,
absolute shock.
who other than the military-industrial complex had any benefit from that?
Well, just to go to war.
I mean, look how many surveillance companies came up because of that. Security,
TSA,
TSA,
Patriot Act.
yeah, it all came out of there. I mean, it's planned. It's been implemented. It's,
So at first it was scary, oh, these people are out to get us. Well, no, it's even more scary.
but it's not. It's the game,
Yeah, I mean, you got them out to get us, and you got our own government out to get us.
and none
It's
of
a
it
double
matters.
whammy, You're getting it from both ends.
So tell me more about it. Doesn't matter. I mean, yeah,
I mean,
just
don't fool
turn it
yourself.
off, but-
Those people are still out to get you.
Do you think that that's
You know,
reverberating through every dimension that you exist in?
What's that?
This plot to take over humanity. I mean, are we really that limited that we're subjected to this? Really?
No, I mean,
And if you can still feel bliss and connection and love,
till the day you die and then you go on somewhere else. No, it
what
doesn't.
difference does it make?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's hard to understand that because those were people. We get all very very sentimental about this particular frequency of existence.
But if you were enmeshed in that, if you were one of the firefighters or knew people who died, that'd be pretty heavy to have to live with that.
I'm sure. But
It's pretty heavy to be freaked out about it because you watch this, film that shows you that they've been fucking you this whole time. If that means kind of that they did their job on multiple levels, if that is how it affects you.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just designed to instill fear, it worked. If you accept the fear, then you're one of the pawns that got taken down. But if you realize yourself as a spirit, as from the spirit, what difference does any of this really make? It doesn't lessen your connection. If nothing else, that's the funniest part, is for those who are looking for that life within, it just strengthens their position. The more tyranny, the more free you become.
Doesn't matter anything right now.
I think believe
So
in
is
the
this
collective
is
consciousness.
this some new movie coming out that you're talking
Oh, I
about?
don't think
Yeah.
it's
What's
new.
that?
That the
Oh.
more the people realize that it is all, the fear factor in the game, and it's all that, it's the collective consciousness. And people start not being fearful and being more inner, that energy will
all
change
the big
things.
controlling
When
forces
we do that, when we
Can
really
change
do that,
things.
when we really
Governments,
decide that we're not going to
religion,
live in fear,
et
then
cetera,
you're
et
going to
cetera.
see what's
A revolution.
really
That's how they
behind
control
all
the
this.
masses, is
Revolution.
through fear.
We will
And we're
demand-
here to protect you
the
and
truth.
do good by you.
because we're not fear. It's the same thing in Egypt. I'm thrilled about Egypt. I'm just so thrilled for these people. They actually took it upon themselves.
They're probably
why?
less free now than they were yesterday.
They
now
made
you
a
got the
statement.
military in charge.
Honey, they made a statement that they're not going to live under a dictator anymore. They want food. They can't afford to eat. That's the whole reason for this.
So you think the military is going to get defeated?
I don't know anything what happened today, but I was just thrilled to know that they actually stood up for themselves and said, we're not going to take it no more.
Right.
They had the guts. They died. They would die for that. They would die to free their children from the dictator. Now that's powerful. I wish we had the
You know what's
guts.
really interesting?
I wish we as Americans had the guts to do what the
Well,
Egyptians
we
did.
can't.
We can, but we're too apathetic.
No, we can't.
We can't?
No.
Yes, we could.
No way.
Oh, yes, we could. We had enough. It's in the masses.
Here's
What are they going to do, blow us all up?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an old hippie, huh?
Here's
You know?
the problem.
Let's go
with
do it.
I know, but here's the
Love
problem
these
with that.
pets. Let's go do it.
You, right now, we think our government's rather benign and benevolent,
We just stop paying taxes.
right? But the minute you decide that you're not going to take it anymore, then you're going to see what kind of ruler you actually have. Like Egypt, Mubarak, pretty much unheard of. Have you ever heard this guy's name prior to this?
Oh, yeah.
He was just some kind of dude, you know? Now that everybody's come up, now you're going to find out what kind of a person he really is. And you're going to watch a lot of people die because of it. Right? America's the same way. It's kind of like, I've heard the argument that America's the greatest country in the world. Well, at least our cops don't walk around with machine guns. They don't have to. You will obey. You stop obeying, and you will find what will happen in America. You will have 50,000 cops to every person, armed to the teeth. Anyone who doesn't understand that, just look at Seattle. Remember? It wasn't all that long ago.
And
WTO meetings.
What
We
happened
fear
with
our
Seattle?
cops. I mean, when I was in Switzerland, people stand on the street talking to cops. It's a whole different thing.
Right.
We're in fear of these people because of the power they have to put us in the back seat or to write a stupid ticket.
Or bust our heads open.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we know it's there, and Americans, I mean, they know they have the most brutal police force in the entire world. It's obvious. You have the most people in jail. You have more people in jail in America than China and Russia combined. Two of the worst countries out there. You have more people in prison here than in both those countries combined.
Aren't we powerful?
Most of them are probably drugs, right?
We are approaching 3,500,000.
Well, that's because in Russia and China they just shoot you instead of locking you up.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, there might be some treatment. Not enough.